It is Friday, June 10th, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by Shady Rays. Not only the best-looking sunglasses in the business, but when you lose them, when you break them, they'll send you a new pair. That is my man, T. Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Thank you very much for joining us, whether it's on podcast form, our YouTube channel, or live on the AMP app on your iPhone. Thank you so much. T. Plouffe, happy Friday. Happy early weekend. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. You just saw me munch down a huge bowl of berries. Would you say get your antioxidants in? Sure. I'm excited, man. There's a lot of good topics going around right now. Tony La Russa, which we'll get into soon. I'm excited to talk about that. Some jazz stuff. It's the weekend, baby. Here we come.
It is. And congrats to the Angels. They snapped their 14-game losing streak behind Shohei Ohtani, who did it on the mound and hit a 2-run homer to give them the lead that they would never relinquish. Good for them. Maybe you'll get a winning streak going when the Mets pay a visit to Anaheim this weekend, but it's just nice that we can get that out of the way and move on to more interesting stuff, like what happened on the south side of Chicago yesterday with the White Sox trailing 7-5 in the 6th inning and a left-hander Souza on the mound. An 0-2 count to Trey Turner with Freddie Freeman on first. Ball goes in the dirt. Freeman arrives safely at second. So it's now a 1-2 count with 2 down and one of the best hitters in baseball. And that's when Tony La Russa puts up the 4 fingers to intentionally walk Trey Turner, who said, I wasn't so sure I should go to first. I had to ask again. Are we certain? So it's lefty on lefty. Max Muncy coming off an injured list stint and a minor league rehab and has not been a good hitter. Goes lefty on lefty. Oppo 3-run homer. And as he crosses the plate, he basically says, fuck you, bitch, for doing that. Tony La Russa was then asked several times about intentionally walking a hitter with a 1-2 count.
So let me ask you a question. Is there some question about whether that was a good move or not?
I guess at 1-2 is the question at the count.
Do you know what he hits against left-hand pitching with 1-0-1 or 2 strikes? Do you know what he hits? Well, you know what Muncy hits with 2 strikes against a left-hand pitcher? I mean, is that really a question? Yeah. Because it was 1 and 2? Turner was a strike left against a left-hander is not something you can avoid if you can. And we had an open base, and Muncy happened to be the guy behind him, and that's a better matchup. But that wasn't a tough call.
Is there anything that can defend Tony La Russa?
I've been searching for things. The previous inning before, Trey Turner stole first base and there was a base open, and I believe it was a right-left matchup against Muncy, and he elected to pitch to him. He hits a double in that inning. Mm-hmm. They scored a bunch of runs in the 5th there, they scored a bunch of runs. Then in the 6th inning, this happens. I didn't know what was going on. I don't think anybody on the field knew what was going on. A lot of looks like, are we sure what just happened? The broadcast thought maybe the ball hit him. They didn't know what was happening. And then after the game, obviously we know what Muncy did. After the game, when you start off answering a question like the Russa did, you messed up. He's trying to find any justification for doing what he's doing. I really believe he knew he messed up, but he was just trying to cover his tracks. So he said, do you know what?
That's his MO. Always has been. I'm telling you, if we had my 16-year-old son Brady on here right now, we were out somewhere and we were discussing this. And I said, after the game, I did my Tony La Russa impression, and we watched the press conference afterward, and he looked at me like, oh my God, how did you know that? I said, this is what he does, dude. This is how he does everything. He asks the media questions like, really? It's almost like, are you going to question me?
So here's the numbers, because he points to the numbers. He goes, do you know what Trey Turner hits versus left-handed pitchers 1-2 count? Well, I do. 258, 310, 390 for an 86 rated runs created plus. Max Muncy versus left-handed pitchers 251, so less than Trey Turner, but 365, 492, 132 weighted runs created plus. So the numbers didn't back that move up at all. I don't know if this is Tony just getting like too many numbers thrown at him and just seeing like the platoon matchup like thrown his way and just wanting to try to exploit that. Cause I feel like a lot of old heads, they just see that and like they think that's the numbers and that's data. Maybe that's what happened, but really there's no justification for it at all. And it worked out in the Dodgers' favor anyway. Even if Max Muncy got out, it's still not the right call. At least when you get a guy 1-2, you can throw a few pitches in the dirt, try to get him to swing and miss at one.
That's the thing. So you know what? Actually, if you boil it down to a really small sample size, meaning this year only, which is maybe what you want to do, the numbers could have favored La Russa. They could have. Actually, there's some out there. I'm just telling you that when
small sample size is not what numbers are about.
I know it's not, but he's probably, that's what I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt into what he was looking at. And I think it was a very small sample size for this year only. Max Muncy even said afterward, I've been having a shitty year, which he has been. But career-wise, his OPS is better against left-handers. It's like 857, 837 against right-handers. They're both solid against, both ways. But against lefties, he's really good in his career. This year, once again, it hasn't been great. And people will say, well, we're only dealing in this year. Well, maybe we are. Maybe we aren't, because maybe Max Muncy's just been crappy the first 6 weeks of the year coming off an injury. And now he's going to turn into the Max Muncy we've seen the last few years. It's made him one of the most prolific power hitters in the sport.
Well, that's what the Dodgers said after the game. They're like, thank you, Tony La Russa. You gave us Max Muncy back. You piss a guy off like that. You get him to focus and concentrate on a bat like that. And you can only get that level of concentration when you're pissed and you have a chip on your shoulder like that. That's another level of concentration that comes out in a ball player and a hitter specifically. Max Muncy was determined right there. I believe there was a 2-strike pitch for the home run opposite field. I mean, maybe this is the thing that wakes Max Muncy back up, or maybe he's just healthy again. Either way, I don't know. There's just no justification for it, because you say there's some numbers, the small sample size that backs it up. That's not what the numbers are supposed to be about. Small sample sizes are supposed to be thrown out the window.
I'm with you. Like I said, I was just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think the last point, then we can maybe move on. What?
I want to know how many other instances does this happen where Tony La Russa tries to justify himself? I don't follow his career that much. You said you hit it on the head. You knew exactly what this is gonna sound like. I think
if you go back and you look at his time, I mean, listen, it had been 10 years since he had managed, so I don't have one off the top of my head, but he consistently has always been the ask a question when a question gets asked to you sort of dude. And this happened when he was first put on Sports Illustrated, the smartest man in baseball. I mean, listen, the dude's got 2,847 victories, 3 World Series championships. So 2 schmucks that are just doing a show right now. Maybe we're not the right people to question him, but everybody was playing along. Freddie Freeman, Danny Mendick, Jason Benetti, the White Sox outstanding announcer, Steve Stone, Joe Davis. They were all asking the same exact thing that we were asking. What the fuck?
You're not a schmuck. I'm not a schmuck. I can definitely ask questions about a move, especially this one. So,
yes. But I will give La Russa this, that he ended his press conference by saying that's the beauty of baseball. You can get questioned, and this is it. I just wonder how a team that's struggling this severely, when we expect them, even with all their injuries, in a weak division to be rolling at this point, and they're not even second place. They're a third place team. How that plays in the clubhouse.
It doesn't play well in the clubhouse. I guarantee you that, especially like you said, they're playing poorly right now. Walking someone with a 1-2 count is absurd. It's absurd.
As you said it, you can pitch around guys that are dangerous and maybe get them to chase. Maybe it means you don't trust your pitcher enough to throw a bad pitch, if you know what I mean. Who knows? Good news for the Phillies. They keep winning. They have won 7 in a row. Rob Thompson is 6-0 as the interim manager. Bryce Harper's going nuts. Kyle Schwarber's going nuts. Now they return home for a weekend series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Have things seismically shifted for this franchise in 1 week?
I think it was just a matter of time, Chris. This team is built around offense, and inevitably your offense is going to struggle during times throughout the year. You hope it's like one guy in your lineup and the rest of the guys can prop them up, and you kind of stagger it that way. But when you have multiple guys struggling on offense, and then even if you do score, you have a bullpen that's giving up some runs, it can make for a very tough stretch, a tough month. And I talked to Kyle Gibson about this before Girardi was dismissed. He's like, dude, we're going to get on a roll here. Like, we're going to catch some steam and get things going. So now after they've won, whatever it is, 7 games, 8 games in a row, he texted me last night with the hat tip, like, hey, did you remember what I told you?
I love that.
He said, we have to give a little bit of credit to Rob Thompson because Kyle did, and I'll relay that. He said, I love both guys, Joe and Topper, but there's definitely a little bit different energy there. And maybe that's because of the winning. Maybe that's because of Thompson. I don't really know, but I think the winning cures a lot of different things. But the offense got rolling, and they went into Milwaukee against a really tough team, shut them down. Their pitching showed up. Milwaukee did. I mean, we know Milwaukee's offense isn't great right now, but to go in and do what they did, that's kind of the Phillies team that I was expecting early on in the year. A lot of us were expecting early on in the year. And man, if the offense gets rolling, they can be a scary team. Zach Wheeler, I mean, pitcher of the year in May. Like, they have studs.
Are you saying that if Joe Girardi had not been dismissed, that they would have turned this around?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
I possibly. But I
these
do want
guys,
to give
these
Rob
guys
Thompson,
rake, man. Like, it was going to happen.
They do. And by the way, when Bryce Harper scores a run since the beginning of last season, just a run, one, they are 41 games over 500.
That's pretty good.
41. That's pretty remarkable. He leads the NL in extra base hits. Folks, I don't, as much hype as there is around Harper, I really don't think that we are giving him enough credit for what he has done. Dude, he was like LeBron in this sport. We knew his name at 16, at 15 years old, and he has not disappointed. And don't give me this shit. Well, he couldn't win a playoff series in Washington, and he hasn't made it to the playoffs in Philly. And that's the sport, dude. That is the sport. He is awesome. He is a ton of fun to watch. His teammates seemingly love him, and he is a badass. Enjoy him.
He works hard, plays hard.
Oh God! Yes.
There's nothing not to like about Bryce Harper. He really has handled a lot of difficult situations extremely well. He's grown up in front of us as baseball fans. Like, he's a kid when he first came up.
19.
We were talking last episode or 2 episodes ago about there was like 5 guys with a 1 daughter. OPS. Bryce joined that club. 1.001 right now. He's raking.
Good job by the entire Phillies team, which made Corbin Burns throw a season high 113 pitches. And nice job by Rob Thompson, now 6-0. That is the best start by a first-time manager since Joe Morgan with the Red Sox in 1988, who was also a midseason replacement. He replaced John McNamara there. And that's not the same. When you hear the name, you're like, Joe Morgan managed? No, not Little Joe. Not Little Joe who used to do the old chicken wing when he was up at the dish.
He raked.
Joe Morgan was great. Back-to-back MVP, one of the greatest little guys in sports history, not only baseball history.
What is, how old is he? He's a short king? I didn't know that.
He was, yeah.
Now I'm looking it up.
Joe Morgan, I guarantee he wasn't bigger, wasn't taller than 5'8".
5'7".
Little Joe. He was great.
5'7", 160, does it say? Oh,
dude, he was unbelievable. So good. Father's Day is right around the corner. And if, I'm a dad, I've got a lot of good things. So what do my kids, what do they want to get me? How about Manscaped? That's right. It is designed with fathers in mind. It's got the Performance Package 4.0. It is here just in time for Dad's special day. Now, inside the package, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all the goodies in there. First off, let's start with the Lawnmower 4.0. It's going to be the official MVP of Father's Day. It's the 4th generation trimmer. It features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. How many times have you been down there and all of a sudden you're like, damn, that does not happen here with the Lawnmower 4.0. Plus, how many dads do you know that use the same trimmer for their face and their boys? That is a no-no. We do not do that. We use the Lawnmower 4.0. It's going to make you feel so good. I promise you. And one other thing, I told you about it earlier. They've got the boxers. They're the 2.0 version. They're here to save every father from the uncomfortable summer heat. These new boxers are packed with the revolutionary features, including the jewel pouch. So they cradle the boys and they take care of you. Plus, whenever I put those little things on and it says Manscaped, Michelle looks at him. She's like, yeah, bro, it's go time. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code baseball today at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code word baseball today. Shake what your mama got you? Nah, you shake what your daddy got you. We discussed this a couple days ago that the Marlins had a 90-minute meeting, and we knew that it didn't have much to do with wins and losses. That's what we were told. But we didn't know many details. John Heyman of the New York Post is reporting that a lot of it's centered on their budding superstar, second baseman Jazz Chisholm, and perhaps a lot of the flash that comes with him and the bravado that comes with him. Once again, details are thin. But I bring this up because Jazz was recently a guest with Miguel Rojas, his double play partner on the Rose rotation. And I asked him the question, what is the difference between swaggy and cocky? And you'll hear from Jazz and then Miggy Rowe here.
I feel like there's a lot of similarities, but I feel like being cocky is more of like arrogance. Like there's an arrogant thing behind it. But I feel like being swaggy is just like you just enjoying it and having fun and being yourself. Like there's no matter in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out there enjoying the game every second of it and doing what I like to do. And I feel like being cocky is more of a you're just more of I don't like a real I don't care, and not in a fun way. It's just I don't care. I'm just here because I can be type thing.
Jazz is a guy who likes to talk and have a good relationship with the other team. And I'm pretty sure if he's doing something that is kind of disrespecting the others, they're gonna talk to him. They're not gonna let him be just a clown out there. And we're not gonna let him be that kind of guy. But I mean, one of the things that he always say, I'm gonna enjoy my life, bro, and I'm just gonna enjoy playing the game. And hey, be you, man, because we need that. And with a guy like you, we're better.
That was about 3 weeks ago on the Rose rotation. If they have a problem with him, is it a question of maybe jealousy? Is that what it could be? Because you heard from their de facto captain, Miguel Rojas, we need you to be that guy.
I was going up and down the roster. If you have a discussion like that about a guy like Jazz, and I don't know what it could be about. Obviously, there's some home run celebration stuff. He does some things on the field that are more, I guess, energetic than most guys. But it's really him. I think that's the one thing that I keep going back to. It's real. When I hear cocky versus swaggy or whatever, cocky is fake confidence, false bravado. That's what I feel like it is. This guy is really confident in his game, and it shows. I was looking up and down the roster because it seems like if there was someone that had a problem with him, it's probably an older guy. But I started looking at the roster. It's there's no Miggy's the guy. They had Richard Blyer in an interview talking about how much he loves Jazz and how hard he works. They talk about how much he sleeps. Maybe that's a thing. They said he sleeps a lot more than any other person. But here's the thing. Here's what I know from being, I was a captain on a Twins team. Molitor gave 5 of us a title of that, indiscreetly or discreetly. Anyways, all I know is if you are coming to the park, working hard and doing your job, you can do whatever you want. As long as you're not disrespectful to the other team, do whatever you want. That's the bottom line. You just have to work hard and go out there and play hard. That's it. And it seems like that's what Jazz does. So I don't really know. I'm trying to find the guy on this roster that would be mad about the way he plays the game. I can't really find them. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It doesn't. I even read in the report that it's there might be a little Dennis Rodman feel to him. I mean, is that only because he dyes his hair? Let's be honest. Dennis Rodman left during the playoffs and went out to Vegas. Jazz Chisholm, as far as I can tell, shows up every night and plays his ass off. What is going on here? Maybe it is a question of jealousy if there is an issue here.
It could be, I guess it could be jealousy. I'm going back over in my head, like, were there any instances where, like, yeah, he did do something on a homer or a celebration to get one of his teammates hit? I don't recall a situation like that. That's one grounds where, hey, this is causing us to get hurt, so maybe we stop it. But I don't think this has happened yet.
Right.
Because Miggy Rojas just said if a team has a problem with Jazz, they're going to talk to Jazz because Jazz is always talking to the other team. So if it's not coming from Miggy Rojas, I don't know who it's coming from, because everything that I read about Jazz from the veterans on his team, they're praising him.
Yeah.
It's an interesting meeting. I hope we get more details out of it. But let me tell you, Jazz, go do your thing, man. As long as you are putting the work in and showing up to the field ready to play baseball, do whatever you want, man.
Yep.
He's not hurting anybody. In fact, he signs autographs more than any other player.
Great, dude.
Like he kind of gets it. He wants to be out there. He enjoys some of the things that other players don't enjoy. He enjoys social media. He enjoys, talking with the fans. He enjoys, I guess the fame that comes along with playing baseball. Some guys don't like that. He enjoys it. And like I said, he's putting the work in, showing up to play every single day. He can do whatever he wants.
Absolutely. And you know where else he's going to play? Los Angeles on July 19th in the All-Star game. See you there, pal. Can't wait. Can't wait. All right. So the New York Yankees had a really interesting game last night. Garrett Cole gave up homer after homer after homer in the first inning. They erase a 7-3 deficit. They end up winning 10-7. They take the series of a pair of first place teams. Now they return home to face the Chicago Cubs. And the reason this might be interesting this weekend, Cubs were washed out the other night. They had an off day yesterday. So Marcus Stroman, he was supposed to pitch in the washout. He is available to pitch. I don't see him starting either Friday, Saturday, Sunday at this point. The reason this is interesting is because he had a back and forth banter. We know how active he is on social media. And when he was a free agent, people were like, well, come with the Yanks, come play there. And then there were Yankees fans that were getting in his face. And they're like, you've never pitched in an important game in your life. And Stroman went back and said, you mad because that crazy payroll continues to let you down year after year? Get off my page. Go communicate with the front office. And then somebody went at him and said the Mets had the third most payroll. They didn't make the playoffs. Yankees had the second, and they did. He chimed in. Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. They routinely spend more than any other team and acquire the biggest names at every trade deadline. The way they spend and players they get should result in much more success than they've had. You don't agree? So my point is that he's gone back and forth with Yankee fans. Don't we want to see him pitch in the Bronx this weekend? Shouldn't David Ross make this dream come true for baseball fans?
Are they just going to skip his start entirely or what?
I don't understand. I can't believe that they haven't put him on the schedule yet. I mean, maybe he's going to pitch, but it's not on there right now.
I think he's got to be able to pitch, at least maybe a piggyback situation. You don't want to just skip a start like that unless maybe he needs it. I don't know. But yeah, I would love to see him pitch in New York. I mean, he's done it a ton before. It's not like he's going to be nervous to pitch in New York. He's
right. He was in the division.
In the division, exactly. He's having a tough year and the Yankees are banging the ball around. I mean, it's probably maybe Yankee fans want to see Marcus throw in New York because of the way they're swinging the bats right now. You had to bring up the Twins game last night. I don't know why you had to do that. I was barbecuing food. It was like 7-2. I was finishing up everything. I come back and they're losing.
Yeah.
So, as a Twins fan, Yankees have our number. And right now, I don't think any team really wants to face them. Offensively, they're clicking. So Stroman, I guess we'd like to see it. I don't know.
I do.
He'd probably shove. He thrives and stuff like that. He'd probably shove.
That's the thing. He loves the big moment. He really does. He doesn't shy away from it. And one way or another, it'll be entertaining for us as baseball fans. As Rob Scirocco, our outstanding producer, just noted, the Cubs are undecided for their Sunday night ESPN game in New York.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, get Stroman Sunday night baseball against the Yankees. He's probably going to throw a shutout. And maybe this, like Max Muncy got disrespected and gets going. Maybe this is the game, he gets all fired up for this game, Sunday Night Baseball. Maybe this will be the game that gets Stroman going.
Oh, yeah. He wants it. Yes. I think it would be beneficial for all of us. For all of us. By the way,
he's fun to watch. When he's going good, he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's good energy. He's good energy.
You probably don't like him when he's facing your team.
Yeah, I mean, he's polarizing, and he knows that too. So not everybody loves him, but we need guys like that. You need a sport to survive on good and not good.
Hard. He
So-
works hard too. These are the guys that you love. You want guys to work hard, go out there and put that energy out there on the field, man. They make our game better. They do.
I hope he's out there this weekend. David Ross, if you're listening, let's go.
Oh,
Speaking of the
yes.
Yankees, by the way, I'm wearing their Hudson Valley Renegades lid. They sent me a bunch of them. I'm going to put them out on our social media pages. They
Is
got
that
some
Bossy's
sharp-
team?
It is. It's Aaron Bossy's team. Yeah, they hooked it up. They've got some great looks. Very good stuff. Solid. All right. Speaking of the Cubs, they were not at Wrigley, so that meant the Chicago Bears could take a little BP as they took a break from their OTAs and mini camp and stuff. They had two guys go deep: quarterback Justin Fields and their tight end Cole Kmet. Are you impressed when guys in other sports do this? Or are you like, well, yeah, they're big, strong athletes. They should be able to do this.
Normally, yes, but both these guys played baseball. So I think Fields in high school. I'm reading now that Kmet even played in college. So
He
if you
was a
played
relief
baseball,
pitcher at Notre Dame.
okay, if you played baseball at that level and you're as strong as these guys, you should be able to poke one out of the park. So I'm happy. It's cool for them because a lot of guys look really bad, but usually those are the guys that never played baseball. But with their experience, you got to expect to at least get one or two out of there. I'm happy for them. It's a fun feeling for sure.
Hell yes, to be able to go deep at Wrigley, like what? Especially for Cole Kmet, who grew up in the area.
Yeah.
That's something special. Like Kmet, it's so funny because he's such a monster. He's so big. The bat just looked like a little toothpick in his hand. But Justin
Sometimes
Fields,
that's bad for the guys. I've seen big old dudes get those
yeah.
little bats. They don't know what to do, especially the guys with massive hands, like the basketball players. They have massive hands and fingers when they try to throw a baseball. They don't, it's like throwing a golf ball for them.
go back, I want to say in like the 93 All-Star game at Camden Yards, that Patrick Ewing was invited to take BP. And Patrick Ewing, a 7-footer. I mean, I'm going to guess not too many times at Georgetown was he swinging a baseball bat. Hilarious.
Yes.
Really.
How many
really
home
funny.
runs did we talk about this? How many home runs did you hit over the fence?
Me?
Yeah.
0.
That's what it was.
0.
We're gonna change that for you. Okay. We're gonna go hit some balls somewhere.
I hit one at Cortland Oval. That's because it ran into the street and everybody had to stop. That was the rule.
And you kept
even if it was-
running.
I just kept running. But I did lead the primetime softball league in like 2003 in home runs.
No fence though.
No, but with my speed, you know how far you have to hit them?
We need to get some BP. Let's get some BP going. Get you a homer. I'll teach you some things.
Well, I just had my executive producer from BattleBots ask if I played softball, and I was like, pre-back surgery I did. I said I would have to stretch an hour and pray to God that I don't like pull 16 muscles. So maybe that's your goal. He's like, do you want to be on the short list to for us to call? I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe that's your
Sounds like-
summer goal. Get me back in softball shape.
Okay. Jim Thome used to have to do that before every game, an hour of stretching at least.
Yeah. Well,
So you can do it.
609 home runs or whatever. Yeah, I guess. A little different.
Shout out Jim Thome. Is he the best guy in baseball? Like the nicest guy in baseball? I think he
nicest.
might be.
The
You have
nicest.
to love him.
Oh, he sent us Jim Thome Hall of Fame hats for the kids and myself, signed them and everything. Unsolicited.
best. Oh,
He's like, Rosie, you guys are such big Cleveland fans. I just had to. You guys.
that's a
you're
good impression right there.
You're
Everything's
good.
very pronunciated.
Hey, Trevor, you look good at the plate, man. I'm so happy for you. And it's like genuine. They're like, geez, Jim.
I see him from time to time. He actually just took over the MLB Players Association alumni. He's taking over that. He's the president of that now. He's just like, he's an ambassador for the game, dude. Like,
He's such a
has anybody ever had anything bad to say about Jim Thome? That's what I want.
When he left Cleveland, they did because they thought he was staying.
Now, no.
No. You got a freaking statue.
He got a statue.
We went to that statue ceremony. It was fun. It was cool. All right. What do you have coming up on John Boy Media?
Right after this Friday recap episode of Talking Baseball, BBD on the simulator. So Friday's always a fun episode, a lot to talk about. I can't wait to hear the boys talk about Tony La Russa. They're going to make fun of the Twins because of what the Yankees did. Yeah. What about you?
You can just bring up the Tampa Bay Lightning. That'll settle them down. Let's see here. Latest episode of the Rose Rotation with Tyler Stevenson came out yesterday, and every Reds fan is motherfucking me today for cursing that kid out with a broken thumb, 4 to 6 weeks. Episode was filmed on Monday. He was doing great. I just want to tell you.
Tough.
Tough one. So that's coming out. Taped with Jose Trevino yesterday. Amazing. Great stories. Great stories. Loved it. That'll be coming out on Monday. So that's what's
Love
going on.
that.
Okay. Shout out to our producer, Robbie Chiraco. Great job as always. For T. Plouffe, I'm Chris Rose. Have a great baseball weekend, everybody. We will see you Monday on Baseball Today.